For those of you just joining us, welcome to part 2 of our journey exploring the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Our first few days of travel brought us back to the southern sections of the Washington BDR while discovering picturesque lakeside camping opportunities. It was here I took on the maiden voyage of the new Oru kayak while witnessing stunning sunsets of Mount Adams. Grab a seat and ride along as the adventure continues for part 2. Our first stop of the day brought us to the Guller Ice Caves, just south of Mount Adams. This 650-foot-long cave is the creation of both volcanic lava tubes and glacier ice caves. Exploring this area will require multiple reliable light sources, such as a headlamp or flashlight, warm clothing layers, and shoes with good traction, as the floor of the cave is often covered in ice and snow. Once in the cave, you'll be immersed in a whole new world with rich history of volcanic eruptions and what remains of it today. Alright guys, well day 3 is off to a great start for our trip here through the Gifford National Forest. One of our stops here for today was the ice caves, as you can see down in there. Kind of spooky, but super cool. It goes on for quite some time and it's amazing. If you ever get out here, take a note of the temperature while you're at the top of the stairs, and then when you get in to the actual ice cave, the drastic change, not only with humidity but temperature. It's just incredible, but very, very fun find to kind of witness and check out. But we're gonna go ahead and hop back in the rigs, do a little bit more traveling along the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route, the BDR, as our main outline for the continuation of our trip. So more to come. Let's go have some fun. Well, alright guys, it is almost 6 o'clock, and after a long day driving along the BDR, we finally came across a great site, and we're going to call this home for tonight. This spot is right along the Panther Creek area, and it is a beautiful little secluded find. When we came in, it was just dumping rain, as well as a majority of today. So nonetheless, we just hurried up and got camp all set up. Got the awnings out so we can be ready for the next rain band that comes around. But overall, this is a great little find for this evening. Not sure how long we'll stay. We'll just see and find out, but it's a great spot nonetheless. right on the river, as you can hear, and it'll be nice to just kind of relax a little bit. It was a lot of driving today, but we were able to restock on some groceries, topped off all the fuel tanks, and we are ready for the next half. So nonetheless, I'm gonna grab a drink, get some dinner prep, and just relax and enjoy these views. 1, 2, 3, cheers! Plans for today consisted of checking out 2 iconic waterfalls that are a must-see when visiting this area, both of which have been high on my list to witness during the fall months with the changing colors. Well, alright guys, after exploring the Panther Creek Falls area, got to witness an incredible waterfall there. It's been on my list for quite some time, so super happy on this trip I was able to check that off and actually witness it. Just breathtaking, to say the least, and definitely should be on your guys' list to check out if you're ever in the Gifford National Forest. But for this evening, we actually found camp relatively early, which is actually kind of nice as our days are getting shorter as we head into the winter months. So we're here in the lower Lewis Falls area, really nice, tucked away. There's really no one here in the middle of the week, so it's really awesome. So we're going to call this spot home for this evening and set up camp a little earlier and just enjoy some more views. But with that, I know some of you guys had some questions as far as transitioning to the open bed setup and how that's been working. Well, to say it in short, with this particular trip and how much rain we've been experiencing, I've had no issues whatsoever. It's actually really nice with the low profile bed rack that the tent sits largely below the cab, so it helps with the aerodynamics and reclaiming some MPGs for fuel mileage. But overall, all the gear that's back there can be exposed to the elements without any harm whatsoever. So I personally have not experienced any downsides to it. The one thing to kind of be mindful of is just having robust cases that are weatherproof and all that good stuff if you do have sensitive gear, but for the most part all of it can be exposed. So just a quick tour on the tailgate, just a random trash bag off Amazon, no particular brand needness or anything like that. It's just something that I needed to hose for all the trash so it's not floating around in the back but can also be on the tailgate, which is kind of cool. And then dropping that down, of course still have the deck drawer systems. I absolutely love those. One side's for galley, the other's for all recovery equipment. And then just sitting on top of that is just a host of just random things. So in the gray bag here we have like our camp table with some other loose items, so it's all stowed away. Blue bag there is those Lynx leveling blocks to kind of level off the truck as needed. The cargo bin behind that, we have like the annex room for the awning, just in case we wanted to host that. Also have a shorty 11-pound propane tank in between everything there for running the propane fireplace. Behind the awning box is the actual propane fireplace. And then in the middle there in the orange container is the electric chainsaw, which is awesome. A lot of you guys were worried about me doing some manual labor on the trail, cutting down trees. So now, lo and behold, we're good to go. So no need to worry anymore. Got the electric chainsaw with some extra batteries too. In the yellow bin back there is just random things as far as like camp stove, chair, extra 1-pound propane tanks, all that kind of stuff. Just items that don't fit really in the drawer, nor do I want in the cab. But otherwise, all of that can be exposed to the elements. I've had no issues whatsoever, but it's been working great so far. But with all that said, we're going to go ahead and finish getting camp set up here and enjoy the views. It is the morning of day 6 on our trip here in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Our plans for today are checking out the ape caves within Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. But before we can officially embark, we quickly found out that reservations are needed to enter. So silly me, one thing that we just learned when we were going up to the check-in booth as we get ready to head towards the ape caves was that we needed a reservation. So minor oversight on our part, but super easy to overcome nonetheless. So we got a little newsletter instructing us what we needed to do. So do know when you come out, make sure to hop on reservation or recreation.gov and make a reservation. Super easy, very cheap, and quick to do. The whole purpose is just to mitigate the crowds that are inside these sites. But we were lucky enough to have a couple bars of service down at a lower parking area. So lo and behold, we were able to get a reservation, and we're good to go. So we can present that next time we go back up. And they're basically by day on 2-hour time slots. So then that way smaller groups are intermittently going in and out as needed. But for $2, can't beat it. So we're ready to go. Just have a little time to kill, and then we'll be heading in. Formed over 1900 years ago with a length at 13,042 feet, the Ape Cave is the third longest lava tube in North America. The cave is divided into 2 sections, an upper and lower passage. Each passage offers very different experiences with the levels of travel difficulty. Similar to the Golar Ice Cave previously visited, the Ape Cave requires essential gear to ensure safe travel, especially with an average temperature of 42 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Charlie and I decided to take on the more strenuous upper passage with a 3-mile round-trip distance. This route requires visitors to climb over numerous large rock piles while bending, crawling, and carefully working your way through. I think we'll do the upper cave. Oh, you gotta like straddle that rock a little bit. It's a little slippery, so make sure you got a good. There you go. Nice. Even with a relatively bright headlamp, the action camera could only pick up so much with zero light from the surface. Surprisingly enough, my cell phone, with long exposure, was able to capture some decent photos to showcase some of the varying terrain we encountered. Some parts of the tunnel were so large that one could drive a vehicle through, while others required 4 points of contact to ensure you wouldn't slip. We also found some sections that seemed to narrow down to a dead end, but thankfully not. Shortly thereafter, we came to one of the points of interest on the trail, which was the skylight. While not used for an exit, it provides a glimpse of the surface above and how vegetation was able to grow with the smallest portion of sun. We have reached the end, and that is our ticket out up the ladder. There's daylight. Here we go. And we got 1.5 miles to walk back above ground. that away. And we came from there. It wasn't too long after until we came across camp for the evening. Surprisingly enough, this campground offered stunning views for being right along the Swift Reservoir, which is just south of Mount St. Helens. Well, alright guys, we have reached the end of the road and we are at the Windy Ridge viewpoint here on Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. And unfortunately the weather is not in cooperation with us today. St. Helens is unfortunately socked in the clouds there and kind of masking our main viewpoint, but you know, overall the weather today is fantastic and it's still amazing to get out here and witness all the views that this particular road has to offer. But even more so, this trip was simply incredible. Hopefully to those watching, this can just showcase that no matter how big or small your trip is, no matter how grand it may be, and how many days you encompass it to be, even exploring in your own backyard of your home state can be simply incredible. Taking the time to go deeper into some areas that you may have already explored, or just simply checking off places that you've never been to and always wanted to. And for me, that was exactly this trip, just to get out and be able to witness areas that have just been on my list for some time, and just unfortunately the calendar hasn't lined up to be able to witness them. But with that guys, this trip has been simply incredible. It's been a lot of fun. We had every weather condition possible. So great to see everything from beautiful lake views to creeks and rivers to grand mountain views and everything there in between. But with that, I sincerely appreciate all your guys' support. It means the world to me. But until next time, safe travels.